I mean, cheers.
Cheers.
So today's topic, I'm really looking forward to talking with you because you're a teacher and I'm a teacher.
Yeah.
You work in a school. I don't work in a school.
Yeah.
And we're going to be talking about what schools in Japan are like.
It's a big topic.
Yeah.
Big topic.
What do you want to talk about first? What's the first thing that comes to mind when you think of schools in Japan?
Exams.
Okay.
Which I'm kind of excited to say because my school's we're trying something new this year. Well, not this year, but next year. We're getting rid of exams in my school.
What?
Yeah.
No exams?
We're not gonna have exams in my school. We're trying something out.
Like no Nyugakushiken for schools?
Literally 0 exams.
What?
Yeah.
How does that work? What are you doing?
Yeah. So I don't know how it works either. I'm gonna be honest with you. The announcement came to the staff a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
And they're just like, all right, so we're just not going to have exams. And everyone's like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
This is Japan.
Yeah.
You have to have exams.
Everyone lives for the exams.
So without bogging things down too much, basically they're trying to copy so apparently Finland doesn't do exams in their school.
Okay.
And they're like one of the highest rated countries as far as children's education goes. And so my school's trying to copy that. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit skeptical, but I'm willing to try different things, especially because I think there's too much exams here in Japan. But yeah, when I think about high school or junior high, because I don't really have much experience with elementary, but when I think about those two schools, I think of exams. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like one of the things that kind of really confused me when I first started working at school. Like the way that you and I met is because I started working at your school for a little while, but just the amount of preparation that goes into making the exams. Yeah.
Yeah. It's absolutely insane. Like the amount of hours that a kid goes to school, because you have your typical 8 to 3 is what like a usual high school student goes through, right? But school doesn't stop at 3:00.
Yeah.
They will stay for a little bit and maybe do like some club stuff for an hour. And then pretty much every kid goes to cram school.
Yeah. Juku, right?
Yeah. And they'll go there for, sometimes 2 to 4 hours, sometimes longer, depending on, what they're trying to do. And it's crazy. And Juku is every day.
Yeah.
Most of the time they'll have like Sunday as a resting day, but it's like 6 days a week they're going to cram school after school, and that is crazy.
So that's like school too.
Yeah. So I mean, if you think about it, the kids, most of the kids here, if they're in junior high or high school, are going to be in school for 10 to 12 hours a day.
Man,
it's like no wonder they're tired all the time.
Sounds like prison, man.
Yeah, it sounds like prison. Yeah, it really does.
Yeah, I know a lot of people who start their English education or as a teacher, they start their career in a Juku and they start to. I know Jukus can make a lot of money, but there's just something about that system that I didn't really understand. Yeah, like in the States, right? So for our school entrance exams, you have like the ACT, SAT, and I don't know, maybe they have something new now. It's been so long since I've been there, but you would go to a SAT prep class or something like that, but it wouldn't be all year and it wouldn't be super, super long. It'd be like a few times a week or a couple times a week. Yeah. And I did that. But man, every day going to Juku.
Yeah, it sounds like hell.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine it. So there's a similar thing in America.
Okay.
So I had a lot of Japanese friends growing up, and
in America?
Yeah. And on Saturdays, there's this thing in America called Japanese school.
Oh, yeah.
Have you heard of that?
Yeah. Well, actually, they have Greek school where I'm from, too.
So they have Japanese school, and basically what the school is it's basically Juku for Japanese language. Okay. So it'll be like going over history of Japan, kanji, and grammar class. And the class will be like, 2 to 4 hours, kind of similar to Juku. And you had to do that every Saturday. And I would go with my friends sometimes, and I'm like, this is horrible.
Yeah. Well, I think especially actually it's really interesting that you brought that up because I don't think that's something that's really around here. Because like I said, there was Greek school where I'm from because there's a large Greek population, and my dad went to Greek school.
Yeah.
I grew up in a town with I think a third of the population was Jewish, and they all went to Hebrew school.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it was always Saturday. And they were just like, I hate it, but I have to go because it's my heritage.
Yeah.
I'm glad I never had to do that. But
yeah,
dude, it's funny because it's like, so the purpose of those schools are kind of like to preserve the cultural identity.
Mm-hmm.
But nowadays, there's like no identity at all. So people don't go there. Our generation doesn't go there at all, you know?
Yeah.
But I wonder if in Japan they have something like that too.
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for you, what is something what's a big difference between Japanese schools and American schools that's not exams?
That's not exams.
Yeah.
I mean, the big key topics in uniforms.
Uniforms? Yeah.
Yeah. I think if like on a surface level, like observing, there's very few American schools that have uniforms. My school, it wasn't exactly a private school, but it was definitely a really high level school. We had to wear business casual.
Okay.
So I had to wear collared shirt and khakis every day.
Yeah, no jeans, right?
No jeans.
Yeah.
I got in trouble all the time because I always wore jeans. I hate rules.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the rule at my school. And here in Japan, some schools are. It's actually kind of interesting because the higher level school you go, the less regulation there is.
In here?
Here.
Oh, here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, like, for an example, my school is very strict on uniforms.
Yeah, right.
But we're very close to the Keio Gakuen.
Okay.
So the Keio High School. And those kids, I mean, they can, sometimes you'll see them have like piercings or something, or and there's a couple other schools that I'm not super familiar with, but I know they're really high ranking schools because I've seen like there's a list of like ranking schools in the Minato area, and like I've seen kids walking around with like colored hair, and there's even one school that doesn't have uniforms.
Okay.
Where they just
see, I would think that the higher level schools would have stricter uniform rules.
You would think, right?
Yeah, because that's how it is in the States.
Yeah. So apparently, like the kind of like the thought process behind it is like, hey, look, we already know that you're capable of discipline and you've performed in this entrance exam to get into the school. So like, we don't need to police you.
Okay.
Is I from what I've been told, that's what the thought process is.
Did you ever go to school in the States where you needed uniforms? You told me about that.
So outside of my high school, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when I was in middle school, I went to a Christian school that was like in a really poor area where I lived, and our uniforms were khakis and the school T-shirt. So like we had like it's a regular single color shirt that had like the school logo on it, and that was it.
That's
it was
so
just
lame.
a T-shirt. I know.
That is so lame.
I know.
Oh my god.
I know.
That sounds horrible.
Well, you need to have uniforms. It's like if you're gonna have uniforms, make them good.
Make a proper uniform. Don't just be like, hey guys, we're all part of the basketball club. Like,
But also when I went to high school though, we didn't have uniforms, but there were a lot of there were some clothing guidelines. Yeah. For sure. Yeah. A lot of them for like the women. Yeah. Like you can't wear too short skirts and stuff.
Yeah. Turns out men don't really have a lot of room for creativity when it comes to wearing clothes.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. I mean, it's just, it was just interesting because I remember like there was this whole issue going down in my school with yoga pants, because that's when yoga pants was trying to get big. It's like,
my God.
You can't just wear yoga pants. You have to wear something that covers your butt. Like that was a rule.
Must have been great growing up at that time. Although it'd be kind of creepy having the teachers walking around.
Yeah. Dude, what's okay. I'm not gonna go into details, but after graduating from my high school, I didn't realize how much sketchy stuff happened between students and my teachers.
Oh yeah.
There. And I guess it was a lot more prevalent than I thought it was.
Man, let me tell you, working at an all-girls school, like...
Oh yeah, because for you, man. Like when I worked at your school, girls would come up to me like, Arthur, you're so attractive. Like they would say that to me every day.
There's just like, there's an innocence.
Yeah.
Like I think there's an innocence that exists at like single gendered schools that doesn't exist in co-ed schools.
Yeah.
Because I think like once boys are around, or like when boys and girls are together, it's like, I don't know, everyone's a little bit more on edge isn't the word I'm looking for, but cautious.
Yeah.
They're a little bit cautious of their actions and kind of like the impression that they're making. So they're a lot more aware of what's going on. But at my school, it's like,
yeah,
you know, like you said, there's this things that'll happen, or like people will just make comments without really thinking like the implications of that comment.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I wonder what it's going to be like when they go to college.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like it'll just be casual conversations, like, you know, like I'll walk into class and there will be like a group of girls that I'm familiar. I see them growing up, and they'll just be like, "Yeah, Austin, I could have your babies." It's like,
what?
Why would you say that to me? Like, yeah, don't you think they'd look cute? Like, no, I don't want to think that. Like, is this being recorded? Like, is Chris Hansen coming out of here? Like, what's going on here?
Chris Hansen, man.
Like, oh my God. It's, you know, and that happens. Yeah. And, you know, I'm used to it now because it's just like, okay, well, you guys have grown up and you aren't aware of like what's acceptable to say in this situation. But it's just like, that kind of thing will just completely just broadside you, and you won't, or blindside you, not broadside, blindside you, and you won't even know how to respond in that situation. But
sorry, I filled that up a little bit too high.
What is?
I want to be generous with you, man. I want to make sure you have a good time. So
yeah. Another thing that I really notice is a huge difference between American schools and Japanese schools is the club participation.
Okay.
So back when I was a high school student, you would get sports clubs, right? So we had well, my school didn't have sports clubs because we were a bunch of nerds, but typically schools will have like football, baseball, soccer.
Yeah, but they're sports teams.
They're sports teams.
Yeah.
And I think there's a huge difference between that because there's a lot more it seems like there's a lot more seriousness when they're thought of as a team versus as a club. Yeah. And I'm not saying Japan doesn't have that, because you do have sports teams in high school. Yeah. But for a lot of like non-sports related stuff, there'll be clubs. So like as an example, in my school, we have like a badminton club. No one goes and competes. You do a couple stretches and you kind of,
just hang out,
play a little bit of like badminton for like 15 minutes and then go home.
Okay.
And that's what a lot of the clubs are like.
Okay.
And back in the US, it's like you just wouldn't see that.
Yeah.
You would see like we had clubs at our school, like we had chess club, but there was always this competitiveness to it. It's like, okay, well, we're going to a tournament, so we're practicing for a tournament.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And here in Japan, you don't always see that. You sometimes see it, but there's sometimes just clubs that exist as like, hey, you know what? We all enjoy doing this. Yeah. And so we're just going to do it every day.
Yeah. Like I remember I was part of the chess club.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And yeah, there was, so it was at the point where some of us were just really casual, but there were other people who were really serious. And so even in the chess club, there was like half of the room was like for tournaments, and half the room was like, we just want to move pieces on a board. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was in that group.
Yeah.
But one thing that kind of also really surprised me that I think really shows a difference in cultural values is the class structure. So like what I mean by that is I thought it was so trippy when I went to your school and I saw that the students don't move classes. The teachers move classrooms. Yeah. So like the students are in the same room all day and the teachers move through, they shuffle through the rooms. But in the States, the teacher has their room. Yeah. And the students move to different rooms. Yeah. And they're not even all in the same classes all the time. Like you're with different people.
You know, it's funny you mentioned that because I just had a conversation with one of the Japanese teachers at my school the other day about this, where I was explaining like, because like you said, here in Japan, you have the homeroom.
Yeah.
And all the students stay in their homeroom all day, unless they're going to like PE or cooking class, where you can't do the class in that room. But yeah, back in the States, it's like you have a math classroom. You have an English classroom. You have like these dedicated learning spots, and you go in there and you immediately know what the subject is upon going in, because there's like posters everywhere.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, that's a huge difference for sure.
Yeah, it's funny because it's like that kind of the way that in Japan, what that does is that fosters like classmate ideology. I guess like I'm part of this class, whereas in the States, it's much more individualistic. Like because
very much so.
I could when I was I could pick my own schedule when I was like a junior or a senior in high school.
Yeah.
And I would do classes that were very different from everyone else. Like I remember actually, so when I finished middle school, I was in that Christian school and I got good grades there because the bar was so low. So I mean, come on, dude. Like my teacher was like, okay, guys, I have to teach you evolution because it's state mandated. But you know, the theory is that. And it was just like, come on. Yeah, is that kind of the school?
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
Yeah. But yeah, so I finished with decent grades. So I go into the honors level. Also, like in the States, I don't know if they have that in Japan, but they're like different levels of the same class.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like where I was, you had like AP is advanced prep. That's like college level. That's the highest level. Then I had like honors. Then I had regular level, and then I had like lower level, right?
Yeah.
So what ended up happening was I took honors biology because when you're a freshman, you take biology.
Yeah.
I did really bad in honors biology because my standard was so low in middle school. So then from my sophomore year, I could go to like the next class at all the next for my sophomore year. I could have gone to the same class that all the other sophomores were going to, but for some reason I went to an anatomy class that was taken by all of the like seniors.
Yeah.
So I was the only sophomore in a class full of seniors studying anatomy. And they're like, at first they're like, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
But like that thing can happen in the States, you know? But that doesn't happen here.
No, for sure. It's like I remember, so I had homeroom when I was in high school. I think most high schools do. But homeroom is such like a small thing in high school. It's like you show up and you have your morning announcements
in the States.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you leave. And so I remember during my homeroom, like I remember the kids that were like all my classmates and everything, right? And for most of the day, I wouldn't see everybody.
Yeah.
It was like I had a couple of my friends usually would pick classes together, but outside of that, like all the other homerooms, you're mixing in. It's like, all right, math class. It's like maybe 10 of us are going over there, and like 10 from the other class are going in, and that was very common. Like here, you would never see that. Yeah, it's like class A and class B. Those classes are taking everything together.
Yeah, right.
And there's a little bit of choice. Like for example, in my school, you're allowed to they have electives.
Okay.
And so like, you know, maybe some students from class A want to go study physics. But you're not gonna see any mixing.
Okay.
It's like class A students are taking physics.
Okay.
It's not gonna be class A and B.
Okay.
You know? So there's still that segregation that's going on.
What's Japanese homeroom like? Like, what do you do there? Because I know you have a homeroom, right?
So I'm a homeroom teacher. So homeroom in Japan is 50% giving announcements and kind of saying what's going on for the day and talking about like upcoming events and everything, and then 50% being a parent. Being a parent? What do you mean? Being a parent. Like a parent.
Okay.
So part of being a homeroom teacher is like you get really close to your students. You'll know pretty much all about their personal lives.
Okay. How do you find out? You just chit chat with them, or?
Yeah, I mean, you spend a lot of time with them, and a lot of it is like giving advice on not just school, but just life advice on like, hey, you know, like you got this going on, like maybe you should try doing this, or maybe you should think about it this way.
So you have announcements, and then you're just have chat with all the students?
Yeah. Usually in the morning, you handle announcements, and then sometimes there'll be like morning tests that you got to give them, and you got to collect their phones and everything. And something that recently popped up because of COVID is you have to check everyone's temperature.
Okay.
And you got to do that every day.
Okay.
And then in the afternoon, what will happen is the afternoon's a lot more relaxed. It's like everybody cleans.
Yeah. And
teachers aren't required to clean, but usually most teachers will stick around and clean just to chit chat.
Yeah.
And so officially the homeroom only lasts like 10 or 15 minutes, but most teachers will stick around for like 30 to 40 minutes with their kids and, talk with them and just kind of, check and see if everything's okay.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, because in the States, it's really just about announcements, and then it's like, okay, off you go to your class.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you don't build up like a relationship with your teacher.
Yeah. I had this one. So my high school homeroom teacher was this really big bald guy. I forget what his name was, but for some reason he loved my last name. And actually, my last name, it's easy to make fun of it. Zedis looks like Zedis, which is like Zedi. So like, I had some kids call me in middle school. Some of them called me Meatball because it's like ziti and meatballs. It's the type of pasta. But
were you not just a plump guy when you were in middle school?
I mean, no, that wasn't why. I was plump, but that wasn't why they said that. Because it was only like one of my friends who said that. But this guy, because my name is spelled really weird. Yeah. So like a lot of Americans, when they see it, they'll say it as like Zeets or ZTs or something like that. Yeah. And so he would be reading off, and I'm always like the last person on the list because my last name starts with Z. Yeah. So he'd be like, okay, so and so, so and so, so and so, and then he'd come to my name, be like, ZD. Like that was the end of it. I'm just like, okay, great, thanks. That's my memory of homeroom.
Yeah, if I remember, my homeroom teacher, that guy was really cool. Actually, he was this small Jewish guy, and he was the drummer of a rock band.
Jewish guys in Washington?
Not many. Okay, but I think he was the only Jewish person I've ever met in my life. Actually.
Okay.
Yeah, it's actually funny to think about, but yeah. He was the drummer of this rock band. So we didn't find out that he was part of a rock band outside of his school until like senior year. Yeah. And he was always this like really well-educated, like he talked really sophisticated. Like I think he was from the East Coast, which I mean would make sense because I don't think there's any like
there's like natural 5 Jewish people in Seattle.
And they're all from the East Coast.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like it was just so funny because like I said, he was a really sophisticated guy, right? And then it's like either he said it or word got out that he was the drummer in a rock band, and it's like,
what?
No way.
Yeah.
So his last name was Savashinsky.
Oh, man.
We always called him Mr. S because
Mr. S,
naturally you can't pronounce that.
Yeah.
And he was a really cool guy. He's always really fun to talk to. And then we found out he's a drummer. Yeah. And it's like you go and see this guy in a concert, and he's a proper rock band drummer. He's just going crazy playing the drums. But it was such a weird transformation to see because, like I said, he was a history, social studies, and English teacher. Yeah, and he's kind of like a small, nerdy guy. Yeah. And just like if you saw him, you wouldn't immediately assume he's a drummer in a rock band. Yeah. So yeah, homeroom was pretty fun with him. He was a cool guy. But it's homeroom over here. It's like the concept of a homeroom teacher is something that's like deeply ingrained here in Japan. It's a very respectable position. Okay. And
because in the States, homeroom is like for like when you don't do anything else.
Yeah. No one cares. It's like just kind of goof off period. Yeah. But here it's like really ingrained in the culture. Like you watch TV shows, and if the TV show is about a high school student, usually the person playing the parent role isn't the parent. It's the homeroom teacher who comes in and gives advice. So it's a really deeply ingrained part in Japanese culture. So it's why it's a big reason why as soon as I came over here and started as a teacher, I was like, I want to be a homeroom teacher. That is something I want to do.
So if there's one thing that really I was impressed by when I met you was how much you care about your students. Like I can really see that, like especially, you know, my son is 2 years old now, almost 2 years old. And he can tell if someone is good or like has kind of a weirdo, you know, and he can kind of tell just by sense, like he'll get close to you if you're a good guy and he'll get far away from you. And he just like flocks right to you, man. It was just
like so much fun.
I don't, when I hear you talk about this, I really just see like, man, Austin is a good guy.
I like to think so.
Yeah. I mean, that would be good, you know? Yeah. But it's like, for me, I'm not that nice of a guy. Like for me, school is very much just like, hey guys, I'm going to do my thing. If you want some advice, I'll give you some advice, but expect some tough love, guys. You know, that's just how I am.
Yeah, I mean, it's all based on preference. You know, it's like teaching isn't a hard job. It's just it's a grind. Yeah. And it's one of those things is if you enjoy what you do. It's not a grind, but if doing that every day is just kind of not your style, then it just wears you out really quick.
So what's something for you working as a teacher here that's really annoying or really tough? I don't want
meetings.
Meetings.
I hate meetings.
Okay.
Oh my God. If there is one thing that drives me insane, it's meetings.
Dude, I remember I sat in on one of those meetings that went on for like 2 hours.
Horrible, aren't they? They're absolutely horrible.
I didn't know what was going on.
The thing that drives me insane is every time we have a meeting, it's talking about a little paper or some message that was sent on our like school website.
Yeah.
So all the information's already there.
Okay.
And for me, it's just like, guys, why do we have to talk for an hour on this?
Yeah.
We see the paper.
Yeah.
Everyone clicked. I saw it. Can we just be like, hey guys, did you read the paper?
Yeah.
Okay, good. That's happening tomorrow. Okay. Done. That drives me insane.
Yeah, well, you know, it's not just in the school, but in any sort of business, the higher, and I see this too, now that I'm becoming a manager.
Yeah.
Like the higher up you are, the less grounded you are in reality, and it feels like you're floating. And so you want some sort of tangible thing that you can hold and be like, okay, I feel like I'm getting progress. Whereas you don't get that because you're not doing the actual work.
Yeah.
So I understand that, but it's their job to like trust their people, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. So that that's a bit of a grind.
Yeah.
The other thing is I think dealing with, so this is a very new thing for me this year. This is just because I've kind of transitioned from being an ALT to an actual teacher. Is I've had to start structuring my classes around the national curriculum.
Okay.
So before it was kind of like teachers would come up to me and like, Austin, you're teaching this English class. Just kind of do what you want. And that's kind of what ALTs are treated as. It's like, just do what you want, teach the kids English, make sure they have fun. But now it's like, I'm now in a position where I can't do that. It's like, hey, look, here's what's expected. Here's the national curriculum that as a high school first grade student, that they need to be taught this and they should be competent and able to perform this by the end of the year. So now I'm in that stage.
Yeah, because you're transferring out of like the ALT thing.
Yeah.
So what's that like? The transition, the differences.
It's kind of a double-edged sword. On one hand, it's a lot more work because it's not necessarily you're doing more work, but you're held up to criticism now. Because before I was kind of, I guess a way of saying it is I was kind of untouchable. It's like, oh, Austin's a fun young guy from America. He comes in and all the students have fun and everything, right? And that was just kind of accepted. So if I screwed up, it's like, oh, it's no problem. The students had fun, so it's not a big deal. But now I'll get criticism.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, your students didn't perform well in this test.
Okay.
And I think their progress is slowing up, so we need to address that. Okay. So they're not necessarily insulting me, but it's like
holding you to a standard.
Yeah. So now, my curriculum and what I'm teaching is kind of observed a lot more. Yeah. Like they'll go through and be like, well, okay, here's what needs to be taught for this month. You need to be observing reading, writing, presentation, and spontaneous speaking.
Okay.
And so I need to be grading and checking that
Mm-hmm.
in classes and everything. And that's something that I haven't had to do as an ALT.
You know, though, I feel like being held to a more concrete standard is a lot better.
Yeah.
Gives you something to shoot for.
It does. I think it was kind of a hard transition for me at first, because it was just like, what do you mean? I was doing all these, and I kind of had to humble myself a little bit, because like I guess my pride was a little bit too high. It's like, I already teach these things, and then after a couple months, it's like, okay, well, actually, realistically, no, I was kind of a little bit more lax in these areas. But no, I completely agree. It's you're being held to a higher standard, and for me, the main difference between now and then is I feel a lot more organized in my classes.
Yeah, okay.
Like, I think my classes have a very clear focus on what they're trying to achieve, whereas before it was just like, this is an interesting topic. Let's talk about this.
Yeah.
So that's something I think if somebody was looking to become a teacher or transition out of being an ALT, organizing your classes in a way that you have a very clear goal.
Yeah, but I mean, come on, dude, let's be honest. Most people who take JET and become ALTs in Japan, especially native speakers, American English speakers, they're not here to teach. They're here to live here.
Exactly.
So they just...
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I think I think a big part of it was because I moved here when I was a lot older. Like most Jets that come over here are like 21, 22.
Yeah.
I came here when I was 27.
Yeah, right.
So I came here with a very clear goal of, I'm coming here to live here and set up my life here.
Yeah.
Versus other people coming and it's like, hey, I just graduated college and I want to go live in Japan for a couple of years. So yeah, there's a very clear difference.
Yeah, it's funny, like, I feel like, the JET program has a lot of good opportunities because it brings a lot of people here and they can teach and stuff, but a lot of JET teachers almost feel like performing monkeys a little bit because they're like sound boxes for the teacher. Like the teacher will teach and then it says, okay, pronounce this sentence for us,
So we're getting a little off topic here, but I want to talk about this. This is an interesting topic.
It's still related to school stuff though.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, very true.
Yeah.
That is because the school doesn't know how to use their student.
Okay.
Or not their student.
Their ALTs.
Their ALTs. And also that is one of the best English teachers that I've encountered here in Japan told me something, and I completely agree with this, is in an English class, the signs of a good teacher is if they're not talking.
Yeah. And
I completely agree with that. So going in her classes, if I ever teach with her,
oh, she's at your school?
Yeah, she's at my school. She has everything very organized, and everything is group work.
Yeah.
So she'll give the students a task and explain things. Obviously, that's spoken in English and everything, right? But there will be very, very specific, like, I'm going to say a couple sentences about how to do this and what we're doing, and then boom, everything else is on the students. And that is fantastic.
Yeah.
I think that is the hands down best way to teach an English class. But I think that is something that doesn't exist in pretty much any English class in Japan. I think most English classes here are, okay, everyone, I'm going to talk about this for a while and you guys are going to repeat after me. Yeah. Like, in that slow, methodical tone.
How are you? How are you? I'm fine, thank you. I'm fine, thank you. Yeah. It's so weird.
And so I think that is a very old-fashioned way of teaching, and I think most schools are still following that trend.
Yeah.
And so when a JET comes in, first of all, JET's advertised on the American side as a completely different thing than it is over here.
Oh, really? What's it advertised as?
So over here, it's like as an ALT, right?
Yeah.
It's like everyone knows what an ALT's job is. But over in America, the JET program is advertised as like this elite teaching organization that you can come over and teach in Japan. It's like, hey, you can go and join. I forget what are the ALT,
like the
the ALT companies here.
Oh yeah, I don't know. You can join one of the ALT companies.
Yeah, whatever. They've got like a number of ALT companies over here that they, contract out to different schools. It's like you can join those, or you can join JET, which is like this prestigious thing. It's really hard to enter JET, actually. They have like a 25% acceptance rate or something like that. Yeah, okay. It's really, really competitive.
Okay.
And I remember like going through the interviews and everything. It's like I wore a full suit and tie. Yeah. And I remember sitting outside the interview room, and this guy came in with like super long hair. It's ironic because I have kind of messy long hair right now.
Now you do, yeah.
But this guy came in with super long hair, just wearing jeans. It was just like, yeah, man, I really want to join JET. And I remember thinking like, dude, there's no freaking way you're getting in.
Yeah, right.
Like,
no suit.
You might as well just go home now. Yeah. Like if you didn't come here in a suit, like there's no way you're getting in. And he didn't get in.
Yeah, of course.
But I remember going through the interview process, and a big reason why I got in was because of my age and because I was in the military.
Yeah,
that's like the reason why I got in.
It's good you got through, dude, because you're like a quality teacher, man.
Yeah,
that's great.
Well, they were really excited. I remember my interview process. Like they were like, okay, so we're gonna do a role playing situation. I'm like, okay, and they're like, all right, well. No one in your class can speak English at all. They have no English ability. They're learning English for the first time. I want you to teach a subject in English to them. And so I decided, or they told me they wanted me to explain what my favorite animal was.
Okay.
That's what it was. And so I started off by saying it was a wolf.
Okay.
And they were pretending not to understand. And I was like, okay, well, wolves live in the forest.
Yeah.
And they didn't understand what forest was, right? So I took a marker and I started drawing a tree. And I'm like, do you know what a tree is? And again, they're playing dumb just to kind of tease me.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, do you guys know what Christmas trees are? And they're like, oh, Christmas. Yeah. Right? And so like the whole point was like you're supposed to try and find keywords to connect with and match your subject so they could feel like they're learning something. That
sounds really tough. I'm sorry, I was basing because I was just trying to imagine that myself.
It was a really stressful experience.
Yeah.
And I remember they asked me questions like, okay, well, what happens if you it wasn't just teaching related questions. It was life related jobs, which I think is appropriate, to be honest.
Yeah, right.
I think
of course,
they need to be asking those questions too. They asked me like, what would happen if you went out to a nomikai with your boss, so a drinking party with your boss, right? And your boss and your teachers, and the boss drinks too much and ends up throwing up.
Okay,
right? And they said, okay, well, what would you say to him the next day? And I would say, good morning.
Yeah.
And they're like, you wouldn't mention him throwing up? It's like, that happened last night. Like, who cares? Everyone was drunk. And they're like, okay, that's the correct answer. And it's like, yeah, but that's the kind of mentality you need to have in Japan. You need to be somebody who just kind of rolls with the punches and goes with stuff.
You explaining this interview makes me think I wouldn't even get into JET.
It's really rigorous.
Yeah.
Because you have to go through 3 interview phases.
Okay.
You have to go through a written interview where you're applying to a college is what it feels like, because you take a test and you have to write an essay.
Yeah.
You go through a one-on-one interview, and then after that they go through like a screening phase to make sure that you have all your appropriate qualifications for everything, and that you're somebody that the schools would want.
Okay.
And so it's a really, really stressful situation. Like the whole thing happens over about 6 months.
Okay.
And I would say out of my entire life, out of being in the military, out of living here, out of going through college, getting in and going through college, that 6 months was the most stressful part of my life.
Wait, more than the Marines?
More than Marines.
What?
Marines are, look, Marines was tough.
Yeah.
But at no point was it stressful.
Okay.
Because living life in the military is so simple.
Yeah.
You get up, you eat your meal in the morning, you do what you got to do in the day,
Yeah.
and then you go to bed.
You just do what you're told.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a very simple life.
Okay.
You don't have to think very much.
Okay.
Which, I mean, the military is kind of designed that way, right?
Yeah.
So it's not to say it was hard, or it wasn't hard, but yeah, it was very simple. But this was just like the waiting,
Man.
because you had to wait like 1 or 2 months between the screening process. Oh man, it was stressful.
Dude, I would love to just hear, maybe next time what we can talk about is we can talk about your experience as a jet.
Yeah.
Here. That would be great, because this is a whole new world I'm not a part of, because you know, I love talking with you, because you and I both lived in Japan for a while, but our experiences are
completely
so different,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just came over here, I started my own business, and I got married, and I'm still here, you know?
Yeah, you just cut out all the fat, man. You're just like, boom, boom, boom.
Boom, boom, boom. I find what I want. Let's just go do it. No, but I mean, I was kind of the same way too, because like with the ryugakusei, when they come over, they just want to have fun, and I was like, no, screw this. I'm gonna build my life here. I'm taking this seriously. Like I remember I got chewed out by my teachers a couple of times for not joining class because I was working. And they're like, Arthur, where were you? I was like, oh, sorry, I was teaching English. I was working. They're like, Arthur, class is more important than work. Please come to class.
Well, class doesn't make me money.
Yeah. I mean, I think this is a good place to end for now. But dude, that was awesome.
For sure.
And we're done with the
Did we
bottle?
finish it?
Well, I kind of finished it because you were talking a lot. So I just was like, dude, this is my favorite. This is one of my favorite sakes.
Enough.
This is like,
I'll have to remember that then.
Yeah.
I'll
So
bring it over.
next time when we're doing a talk, you should not bring this because I'm going to drink this more.
This is really good, man. I really enjoy this.
It is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll talk to you next time.
All right.